What up, everyone? Maksat Ibrahimov here for MMA Heart, and you all know who this is. He is the BFL Bantamweight World Champion, the number one ranked Bantamweight in Canada, Ali Bomaye Wasuk. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing very well, brother. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. It's a huge pleasure to be talking to you. Champ, first of all, I want to ask you about the night of February 9th when you became the world champion, the Bantamweight World Champion for BFL. How important was this night for you, and how special was this occasion?
Yeah, man, it was very important for me. It was a goal of mine as soon as I turned pro. After coming falling short two times, it meant even more to me because there was a lot of doubters. There's a lot of haters like usual. But I got the job done against another top ranked guy, and it was the perfect step for me in my career at the time.
And your first title defense is rumored to be taking place on May 9th. Do we have any news about the opponent who you're going to be facing?
Yeah, man. I'll be facing Christian Rivas. He will be. He's fighting out of Assassin Baby team, so Brandon Moreno's team. I believe his record is like 10-3. Very tough guy. But I'm excited to always take those big challenges because my goal when I get to the UFC is I want to stay there. I don't want to be surprised with anything. This will be the first Southpaw that I fight as well. So I'm very excited for that.
Mhm. And yes, of course, before you mentioned that you want a big name next, you want an ex-UFC or an ex-Bellator fighter. So are you happy with this matchup? And, where do you think a win over here puts you? How close do you think it will put you to that UFC contract?
Yeah, I mean, from when I turned pro in the beginning, everybody was telling me in order to get to the UFC, you have to a good road is to fight an old UFC fighter. But now they're saying like with the contender series and other ways to do it, they just want to see you perform well against high level guys. I talked to my team. We tried to get Wilson Hayes to fight. That was the original game plan, was to fight Wilson Hayes. He turned it down. He said he wanted to stay at 145, so he turned down the fight, and then here we are.
Mhm. And of course, we are hearing that Rodrigo Ceznando is also going to be fighting on that BFL card on May 9th. Of course, I also just recently spoke with Amir Gassemi. Seems like he's going to also be making his debut that same night as well. So how does it feel for you, to share the card with your teammates? Of course, on February 9th, you already shared the card with Rodrigo. So just how does it feel to fight on the same night with your teammates?
Man, it feels amazing. When we are all in a training camp, the mentality is very different. Everybody is pushing each other. We're even when not everybody's in camp, but when everybody is in camp, it's just a different energy in the training room. I've never I've before I started training at Lions, me and Amir both fought on the same card. He won the kickboxing world title that night in BFL, and I won my, I think, like third or fourth pro fight. We were in the same dressing room. We didn't train together, and it was like really good energy. And that's when I wanted to start training with them as well, because I saw that our energy aligned that night, and with Coach Paulie and Amir and all the guys there. So it was really great. And then me and Amir both came out with a victory that night. So we're looking to repeat that again.
Mhm, mhm. And Champ, of course, last Saturday we had the UFC 299, a card which was packed with bantamweight action. First of all, I want to get your thoughts on, Song Yadong fighting Petr Yan. What did you think of Petr Yan defeating Song Yadong? And are you disappointed for Song Yadong? Because as we know, he's friends with Coach Paulie and recently visited Lions MMA about a year ago as well.
To be honest, I don't know either guy, but I'm a big Peter Yan fan.
Mhm,
I was happy for him.
mhm,
He's Peter Yan, super tough guy, and beautiful striking. Uh, yeah, I was happy for him. It's always so cool to see how exciting the bantamweight division is now.
And what did you make of course, Sean O'Malley, absolutely putting on a masterclass against Marlon Chito Vera? Do you think that there's anyone in the bantamweight division in the UFC who can beat that guy?
Uh if I were to put money on it, I would say like two different stylistic matchups for him. I would think either Corey Sandhagen has a very good chance of beating him, or Umar. I think I think the reason why O'Malley looked so great is because it was essentially a striking fight, right? It was very
Mhm,
little grappling, and I feel like
mhm,
that's the difference. People got to realize this is MMA, and you got to mix it up. Specialists were great years ago, but now you have to be able to be good everywhere. You can be very good at something, but you have to have a high level of the other parts of the game as well. So
mhm,
I think if Cheeto mixed up the grappling a little bit more, and made it a little bit tougher for O'Malley, then I think it would have been a different fight. But I was super happy for O'Malley as well. He makes the division exciting. It's like having a McGregor in the division.
Absolutely, absolutely. And a lot of people are saying that bantamweight is the most packed division in the UFC. So many killers in there. The whole top 15 is absolutely crazy, full of talent. How do you think you match up against those UFC top 15 bantamweights? And how competitive of a fight do you think you can put against them? Where do you think you rank among that UFC top 15 bantamweights?
You know what? I truly believe I belong up there with all the top guys. I've gotten a chance to go to TriStar Montreal and train with some top guys there as well. So it's super exciting for me. The biggest thing for me is being able to go and test myself against those high level guys, and seeing that different kind of mentality. I got a little bit of that in my series fight, so I'm really excited to continue to test myself against the top guys, man. And I never turn down any fights. So if an opportunity ever arises, short notice, anything like that, I'm always game to put it all out there, and always gonna bet on myself, and see where it takes me.
And of course, a recently signed Canadian to the UFC, Serhiy Sidey. You fought that guy twice. Does those fights and that experience give you any extra confidence that you absolutely belong in the UFC as well? And are you looking to avenge those losses in the future as well? Is there any bad blood between you guys?
There's no bad blood, man. For me, it's always like business and competition. So the way I look at it is, uh, you know, uh, he was the better man that night. Absolutely. Would I fight him a third time? Absolutely. Why not? Would I fight? I would fight anybody.
Mhm,
Unless you're my teammate, I think you're on the menu. So
mhm,
yeah, I'll always fight anybody, and I'm super excited. Yeah, with Siri, like I feel like those fights really level you up.
mhm,
That's why I never try to take easy fights. I feel like
mhm.
I don't grow as much. I need that pressure. I need that excitement of like facing another killer, and it allows me to make leaps in my development as a martial artist. So yeah, those fights are super exciting, and I want to continue to take on the top guys always.
Mhm, mhm. And of course, you proudly represent your nation of Afghanistan. How important is it for you, to always raise the Afghan flag? And what do you think is the future of Afghan MMA as well? What is the talent like in Afghanistan? And of course, we see a lot of different Afghanistan fighters emerging on the scene right now.
Definitely, definitely. Like right now, we have a lot of people immigrating over to Canada. Actually, at my other gym, TriStar, in Burnaby, TriStar Gym West Coast, we have a lot of Afghans that are coming down who've seen me fight, which is pretty cool. And now they're coming to train. They're like, don't even speak English. So, and the talent is really good, man. It's up there. They are very tough, and they're very strong. They just need a little bit of technique, and I think Afghan MMA will get really far.
And once you do sign to, with the UFC, what do you envision your UFC run will potentially look like? Is the goal for you, of course, to become the bantamweight champion of the world?
Definitely, always, man. I always am gonna strive to be the best at anything that I do. Whether that be in a jiu-jitsu tournament. I'm always like looking at ADCC, or like
Mhm,
high level competition, or In the UFC, my goal is always going to be to try to find a route to the title, and do it kind of like Adesanya did, or Alex Pereira. Like they did it in like 2-3 fights. Like that would
Hmm.
be amazing, man. Like getting some
Hmm.
like cool finishes, some highlight reel finishes, making the right call outs,
Hmm.
and getting to that top level.
Hmm. And do you allow yourself to envision, what it will be like to get that call from the UFC, and what would it mean for, your family, the gym, your friends, and for yourself, of course, to, finally get that call from the UFC?
Man, it's every time I envision that, I always get super uh, emotional because man, like I've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing this for like 10 years. Over 10 years now. So it's and even when I first started, I remember it was I think it was like Tyrone Woodley versus Rory McDonald in Vancouver, and I like snuck into the back. This was when I first won my first like amateur title,
Hmm.
and I snuck into the back. I saw Dana White, and I still have that picture that we took, and it's on my
Hmm.
Instagram. And after this fight, I might upload it and be like, because I made him a promise that night, and I was like, hey man, like I will be in the UFC one day, and
Hmm.
and I'm gonna stick to my word. And every time I have a hard training day or have a hard session, I think of my family and all the sacrifices that they make for me to chase my dream. Because I miss birthdays, I miss family gatherings, I miss a lot of things. I miss my niece's soccer game. Like there's a lot of things that I miss to make it to training to make sure that I get the right work, and these are the things that people don't see really, right? So it would mean the world to me to just give them that, to show them that hey, like I made it, and it wasn't just me. It took a team, it took a village, and now we're here. And I don't have a doubt that I will get there.
Hmm. And what do you envision your road to the UFC will be like? If you don't get a fight right away in the UFC, are you ready to go through Dana White's Contender Series, or maybe even the Ultimate Fighter show? Are you ready to do whatever it takes to get there?
Whatever it takes, man. Whatever it takes. I'm ready to take short notice fights. Uh, I'm ready to take short notice fights. I'm ready to take contender series. I'm ready to take anything.
Hmm.
Whatever the route is, I will do it.
Hmm. And of course, once you sign with the UFC, it's going to be a whole different ball game. Are you excited to be part of the crazy UFC PR machine? Do all of those different media obligations, and live that a professional athlete star lifestyle. Is that something you're looking forward to?
Yeah, bro. I think that once I'm at that level as well, I feel like it's gonna I'm gonna evolve even more. Like right now, I'm having to like obviously like work and take some time away from training and like recovery and things like that. During my downtime, I try to obviously make some money and do privates or anything like that. So once I have that, once I have the nutrition, like I used to be a chef, so I know how to cook and everything
Okay.
like that. But like that being said, like obviously having the UFC PI and having all
Mhm.
that at my disposal, it's going to be a game changer for my career as well. So once I get there, I definitely think I'll be at a new level,
Mhm.
and I'll just keep evolving.
Mhm. And only a couple last ones from me. How is your training camp going? Could you tell us about your training camp, the preparation? Just how hard is Coach Paulie and the team pushing you and Rodrigo towards those fights?
Yeah, man, my team holds me down all the time. They push me. They're always helping me grow. And Coach Pauly, Coach K Johnson, like all these guys are really pushing me towards my full potential every camp. There's certain days where I'm tired or something like that, and they're able to read that, and they're able to motivate me even harder and give me those subtle reminders that I need sometimes too, show me why I'm doing this, and
Mhm.
what it's gonna take for me to get there. And with that, I can't thank them enough. So, and training camp's going well, man. Like I always push myself. I'm always doing 2-3 sessions a day. And continue to try to push myself to be the best version on fight night, and be in that flow state come fight day.
Mhm. And of course, this will be your second fight in 2024. How active can all the fans, expect to see you to be? How active do you want to be this year? How many more times can all the fans expect to see you?
God willing, I'll fight as much as I need to. I've fought in the IMAF World Champions as an amateur, where I fought like 3 times in one day, or in 3 days. Like I fought every
Mhm,
day, and then
mhm,
as in the nationals, I fought twice in the same day. You know what I mean? So
mhm,
uh, as active as I can be, I'm gonna keep training, and as long as God allows me to continue to fight, man, I'll fight 5 6 times if I have to.
mhm. And could we get a prediction for your next fight? How are you gonna put this next guy away?
I'm gonna do a highlight reel finish, man. It's gonna be either a sub or a knockout, man. I'm still looking for my first knockout as a
Mhm,
professional, so
mhm,
that's definitely on my bucket list, and I'm gonna push the pace on him, and I'm looking to put him out.
mhm. And could we get a final message for all the Ali Bomaye Wasuk fans out there worldwide?
Man, all the people, all my fellow countrymen in Afghanistan who've been showing me a ton of support, all the people, the Muslim community, all the people in Vancouver. I just want to say thank you so much for all the support. And, every time I go and fight out there, I may be in the cage by myself, but, I got the whole village behind me, man. That energy is always carried through my fights, and through each round. I'm going to carry that energy, and I just want to say thank you to everyone, my family, obviously my fiance, everybody like that who've done a ton to get me to where I'm at. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep striving towards greatness, and the rest is in God's hands.
Mhm,
I just do my part, and I don't take any shortcuts. So
mhm,
yeah.
mhm. And lastly, could we get a final message for all your Afghan fans as well? In your language too.
تشکر همگی که مرا کمک کردیم. همه افغانا مملکت، انشالله که می نو ما جنگ میکنم و انشالله میبرم به همه شما.
Thank you so much, champ. Great talking to you, and look
آمین.
forward to coming back to Vancouver this year and training with all of you guys as well.
Hey, can't wait, bro. Can't wait.
Thank you so much, champ.
Thank you, brother.